Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of Partnerships in SaaS. I'm really fired up today. I get a chance to hang out with Connor Jeffers, CEO and founder of A8 Labs and Aptitude8, one of HubSpot's top partners and a big part of our ecosystem. Connor, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yeah, we've known each other for a little while here, and obviously you've been a big part of some of the more technical work and a lot of the innovation around the HubSpot ecosystem. Today's not specifically about that, but one of the things that I love to ask every guest, just to get sort of your own perspective, is what is your go-to-market superpower? And you actually answered before, as I ask every guest to do. You talked about helping making the people inside of your partner team and inside of the actual partnership itself seem like they have superpowers. So talk to me a little bit about that to kick off.
Yeah, I think so. What we usually think about and partnerships, not only because we're a HubSpot partner on both businesses, and that's sort of a big extension of what we do, but we've done a lot of partnership stuff with other organizations as well. And I think what we look at in doing that work is how can we make it so that the person on the other side of the table, so usually that partner person inside of the SaaS organization, in working with us, they are able to unlock something they couldn't otherwise. So we think a lot of hey, listen, send us bullet points, send us outlines. We will make the content, we will create the outlines, we will produce a webinar, you guys just distribute it. And when we think about sort of the value that we bring to that equation is we have a lot of expertise, we have a lot of insight because it's what we do all the time. And usually the organizations we're working with have a wider aperture, a larger list, a bigger cannon to fire things out of. And so we really think of our job as how can we give them sort of the best possible cannonballs all of the time and really make their job as just point this in the right direction and fire it. And we try to make it look for them that they're like, man, this event you guys did with Aptitude8 or this co-sponsored content you did is really amazing. How did you guys do that? And they're like, I don't know, man. I just told them I needed something and they made me something awesome and I just distributed it. And that what we found is that makes it that people really like to work with us and bring us a lot of those opportunities as a result.
That's cool. So first off, you should know I like analogies. So now I'm picturing
we'll be vibing the whole time, man.
Yes,
my team makes fun of me because usually they're good, and then sometimes I say something and they're like, "What does that even mean?" I'm like, "I don't know. I lost it somewhere along the way."
No, it's good. It's the title of this episode now. It's Cannonballs. Someone will have to understand what that means.
Love it.
No, it's cool. You're talking about something that I think when I talk to leaders across anybody in partnerships, they always talk about the give-get dynamic, right? And a lot of what you feel, I think, in the modern partner org is a little bit of, well, what are we asking them for? I.e., to the provider to the partner in that sense, the tech to the person. And I know you and I have talked about this before, but this idea of what does the partner deliver to the customer, and then what does the partner deliver to the company, and vice versa. I think as it's reciprocal from both dynamics. So when you talk about initially engaging your customer and you bring a software like HubSpot or any other platform into it, what is that dynamic like? Are they coming to you saying, you're the expert, just give us everything? So I'm curious how you think about, from a tactical perspective, the decision process around technology fit, go-to-market fit, the things obviously you're really good at.
Yeah. So for us, it's interesting because there's two dynamics that are actually very different. And I think the roles are similar, but who plays each role is different. So one is we're working with somebody and they're coming to us and they're talking about a problem or an opportunity or something they're trying to do. And they're usually not putting it in the lens of a technology at all, right? They're coming to us and saying, this is the problem I'm trying to solve. This is what I'm trying to do. Help. And then we're sort of working with them to say, okay, how do we do that? What technologies are needed? And then we'll pull in technology partners. And what we try to do, and we're relatively agnostic, right? We have products we think are best, and we have products that we really like to work for. We have teams we really like to work with. But we usually tell our customer, hey, okay, here's how we think this could work. Here's some technologies we think could be a good fit. We'll loop in some people from that side. You can talk to them about the technology part. And then we kind of become this expert sounding board for the customer. It's like, hey, I was talking to this person at this organization and they said this. And we're like, yeah, that's not entirely true. It kind of work this way in that use case. And I think from the partnership lens, we get to back channel with the person on that side. Also, we can make sure that their messaging is aligned to what that customer wants to hear. We can do some pre-vetting and pre-diligence to make sure it's right. And it sort of lets us be kind of in the customer's eyes, two balanced perspectives. And on the back end, kind of an aligned team, not on tricking that customer, getting them into somewhere they shouldn't be, but on figuring out how do we actually provide value to them. And we'll be the first to say, I don't think that this is going to solve their need. And at the same time, it lets us kind of work that angle together. The flip side of that, which we do a lot of as well, which is technology partners of ours that are working with customers, identifying a problem, thinking that we might be able to help solve it or extend sort of what their software solution is capable of, and they bring us in. And what's really interesting in those conversations is we then become the validator, right? So the customer is saying, the sales rep is telling me that this is going to be possible. And we sort of think the reason that you're in this conversation is they don't know that it is. So like, can we actually do this? Do I trust you? Is this real? And I think when we think about our organization and our business, really what we orient ourselves around is we produce trust and we produce verification, and we sort of produce this like, you can believe that what we are telling you is true and it is possible. And that's a unique angle that we bring to that conversation, that ultimately a customer is going to be skeptical of a sales rep at all times. And being able to talk to somebody is like, can you show me that this will work? Is like not the demo and not sort of the tear sheet, but like, can I do this? And
the results.
We are able to sort of bring that in.
Yeah. That's interesting. You talked about the dynamics, right? And one of the common themes that seems to be showing up more and more in the industry is not just how do you set up a program, but once you do, what are the guardrails, the limitations certainly, but some of the framework in terms of guardrail that you want to establish either with your partner or that those partners should with you around information sharing, how to do mutual evaluations. A lot of what you're describing here that you guys have really nailed, it sounds like. Is there something that you're using, whether it's a methodology or a framework, something that is guiding the way that you interact with the customer and the way that you interact with a provider like HubSpot in this example we're talking through? Perhaps I don't need all your secrets, but when you think about,
I wish I had just like a great acronym for you. I'd be like, buy my book where I talk about the new, Band is dead. I don't.
Don't have an acronym. Okay. All right.
The way we think about it, right? When we're working with those customers is we always make sure to never burn the partner and never represent something that's not true. And like where it gets difficult, right, is like, ultimately, and I think what's really different, and I think SaaS partner leaders understand this to some degree. SaaS reps sort of have to wrap their minds around it, but there's always this like, can you guys just tell them you'll do it? Like, I really need this deal and I really need this quarter, and like, just tell them it'll work out. And like, the thing that's hard for us is we're on the hook for it. Like at the end of the day, you're going to sell the software, they're going to sign the deal, they're going to walk. And like, I actually have to like get them something and get them somewhere at the end of the day. And if it doesn't work out, I can't be like, oh man, it's a software limitation. Like they're like, bro, you said that you could do this. Like what is going on? And there's always sort of that tension where we're trying at all times, help the partner win the deal is kind of our main mantra, even if we're not in it. Like, so we tell HubSpot sellers, we tell this to other software partners that we work with, like, bring us in. We will help you win deals, whether we sell services or not. Like we want to be a resource for you. And that mantra, I think, make sure we're always orienting around how to make them successful. And then when we do end up pushing back, it's not oh, well, you guys just don't want to do this and now I'm stuck, because we've helped them win stuff maybe where we didn't win. And it keeps us more on that same team versus, and the reality is we run into stuff that we're like, listen, I don't think we're going to be able to do this either at that price point on that timeline with these constraints, whatever it might be. And that's always a hard line to walk, because the rep, ultimately what every rep wants, and when I tell everyone in our sales and our partner teams, is like, every rep that you will work with, every software company wants you to walk in and sprinkle magic dust and make the deal one. That's what they want from you. And so
unicorn
anything
dust
you give them that's not that will be disappointing. Like, so know that going in.
It's a good call out. No, so what I'm hearing is you use unicorn dust and fairy laughter to engage all of your deals to the full effect. No, what's interesting is, you started off by saying, I don't really have an acronym or methodology. Maybe you don't have like some cool alliteration. We can work on that together. But I do feel like what you're describing to me is an operating framework. And it's totally. It's assumptive behavior around, let's assume good intent, let's partner together, let's try and deliver the value to the customer at the end of the day. And if that means that we have to say we're not a good fit, but we can still help you purchase software or invest in some sort of a solution that does help you, we're putting the customer first, which a customer first, methodology is great to put on a wall or on a piece of letterhead, but like acting on it and doing the work obviously is the hardest part. So that's actually interesting to hear you talk about. You also mentioned something interesting to me. I took a note about it actually, talking about working together. And, when you think about the scale of, a HubSpot or Salesforce or Adobe or otherwise, a lot of what you see is just true alignment in terms of co-sell. And then you see other companies that say, well, look, we're just looking for people to sell our product, or we don't want to scale with headcount, so we're going to have some sort of a relationship with a group of people that will do the work for us, that kind of services methodology.